So welcome back. I'm going to be showing you all how to achieve a chocolate cake design using an 8-inch 4-layered cake. So first of all, definitely I already crumb coated the cake before. Now I'm having the second coating done, after which we would have the design on it. So basically a chocolate cake design is a design that goes around the side of the cake using a parchment paper here. Some people use brown paper, but yeah, I feel more comfortable using the parchment paper. And then melted chocolate. Melted chocolate that has no sort of fat in it. Like you just melt it over the double boiler style, or you use a melting pot. Because any presence of fat in the composition would prevent the chocolate from holding up around the sides when you wrap it round. Okay, so for this kind of cake design, you basically need a tape measure here, the parchment paper, that's the white sheet on the table, a pair of scissors, and then a piping bag, disposable preferably. So after melting the chocolate, I've melted my chocolate, but I'll get it out shortly. After melting the chocolate, it could be white chocolate, it could be dark, it could be colored. For me today, I'm going to be using a mint green chocolate. I already colored that ahead of time. So I've melted it and I want it to just come to a bit of a cool temperature so that it wouldn't hold up too much heat and make it harder to work with. So after that, I would have measured this, like this is already measured. I measured the height and the width of the cake. Ensure to always leave about half an inch or something of an allowance, so that when you wrap the sheets round the cake, you have a bit of an excess, not like the exact. So here I have the width measurement of this cake and the height measurement of this cake as well. So you try to do that before you melt your chocolate, so that your chocolate will not solidify whilst you're trying to get the sheet measurement. So when everything is ready, like you see, I have everything already prepared. I even have my gold chocolate prepared already. So after I do this, I would take the cake back to the freezer for a few minutes, 10 minutes thereabouts, and that's so that it can just firm up a bit. Something similar to what it looked like when I was trying to coat it the second time, like the first coating texture. But definitely it won't be as hard as that, because now this is the proper covering, so it won't be, but I mean it will be firm enough so that you won't have a messy looking result. So when I do this, you don't really need to focus so much attention on the sides of the cake, despite the fact that it has to be neat and smooth, but at least it's going to be covered anyway, so you can channel your energy into something else, into making your chocolate cake perfect. So after I'm done with this type of decorating, I'll scrape it as always using my acrylic scraper, the smooth side. Alright, so once I'm done with that, I would just pop it back into the freezer like I stated earlier, and then I'll get my chocolate and prepare it. I would, whilst this is resting in the freezer, you don't necessarily need to just stand and be watching. That's the time you get your chocolate from wherever you've left it to cool, the shelf, anything, but not in the fridge, because definitely you'll go back to that solid state. And then you pipe it with the disposable piping bag using, just cut the tip. You don't need a nozzle for this part. You don't need a nozzle. So when you pipe on it and then you pipe this out, you let it set for a little while, another 10 minutes, just so that it won't be running when you are wrapping it around the cake. You get, so when that is getting set, then you can bring your cake out again, and you know how chocolate reacts to cold temperature. That's the whole idea. Immediately your chocolate is wrapped around a cold cake, even without having to return it to the refrigerator or the freezer, as the case may be, it would start solidifying. Because yeah, definitely there's been an interaction between the cold cake and the melted chocolate. So this is the best I'm going to achieve with the sides, and that's because I don't really want to waste so much time trying to get it smoother. It really doesn't count for this design. So at this point, if it was going to be a smooth cake like the drips and all of that, it would be smoother. But yeah, this will definitely fly. I'll return it to the freezer. I'm still trying to, as much as I always like to put sharp edges on my cake, it's also not very necessary on this design. The design seems to be like a quick one, but trust me, it's not. It's a little bit time consuming because all of those little minutes that you return and bring out and return and bring out. So just stay close, guys, and just watch me, and I hope you learn a thing or two. So now I'm returning this to the freezer. I'll bring it back after about 10 minutes and we'll continue from there. But I'll show you next. The next thing I'm going to show you now is how I'm going to achieve my cage design that I'll let set for a bit before I put it on the cake. It's time to make the cake design. So whatever design I make here is what I'm going to transfer to the body of the cake using this sheet, this parchment paper. I sold everywhere. So this is the melted chocolate here. Like I explained earlier, it has no bit of fat in it. I initially melted it with using the double boiler style. That is a little heat with water and this bowl over the pot. That's more accessible if you don't have the melting pot. So yeah, that's how I did it. After it got melted, then I added a drop or two of green color to give me the mint green color, and then there wasn't any seizure whatsoever. And then I let it cook completely. Like now, it's not even warm to touch; it's totally cool. See? And the trick to working with this kind of chocolate is once it's almost melted, you turn off the heat and then you stir in the remaining bits of chocolate in it, just so it doesn't seize or get so hot or heated. That's what I kept doing, and when I had everything totally melted, I then further let it to completely cool down. So that's what it is now. So at this point, what we'll be needing is the disposable piping bag. You can cut it to any size that you want, but I wouldn't cut first so that I won't have like a spill when I'm pouring. So I'll pour. I'm going to be piping on this sheet in no particular order, like more like a freestyle design. Or just whilst doing that, just try to be creative and just come up with a nice design. So I'm not sure I would exhaust all this chocolate, but I'd rather pour everything in so that I don't get stuck halfway. So yeah, I go again. If you notice, and if you look at this chocolate closely, you will notice that it is not clumped up or too thick, and it is not too runny. That's the beauty of using a compound chocolate. Yeah, the ones that I'm using here. There are a whole lot of brands out there that produce compound chocolates. Just pick out the one that works best for you. If by any chance you need to know which one I use, then you can drop a message and it will be attended to in due course. I don't just want to put out a name right now because I don't want to. So if you need it, so what I want to do now is I want to cut this off, but I want to put it close to the trash so that it will not spill everywhere. So I have that. So see the tea, I cut it already. make sure that your paper is as straight and as smooth as possible, no crease whatsoever, so it doesn't affect your chocolate when you're pulling it out. So I go, just hold it, do something, just do anything at all, anything at all. I definitely won't leave it at this, but see, it's in no particular order, just freehand. Yeah, and so I go again. This time around I go the other way. Let me fill up this part first. Right, so yeah, so now I go There's a beauty in this cake design because now you have thicker strokes and thinner strokes, so it just looks really unserious and whatever cleanup you want to do or you want to achieve with this, you have to do it at this point before the chocolate starts to set. So here I have some spills at the edges. You want to try and avoid that. All I'll just do is, using my gloves, I'll just take it out, because if you don't do that, by the time it sets and it rests on your cake, there's a likelihood, there's a high possibility that it would, there'll be a friction over there and then it might break. So, and if you notice that all the strokes and all of what I did come out from the sheet. So this is what it is. So ideally I should just leave it just like this for a few minutes, especially if you're working in an air-conditioned room, or of course in an environment where it's very cold or very cold. You won't need to put it in the fridge. This is how you put on the canvas. Shouldn't be too heavy that you won't be able to lift it up. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, for the purpose of those that might not be able to work in a cool environment, you need to put it back in the fridge. You should be able to lift it like this, alright? But I can't even do that now, you see, because it's still wet. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 2 minutes, because it's very tricky when you put it in the fridge, but it's faster. Tricky because if you forget it in the fridge or put it past 2 minutes or whatever, it's going to just solidify immediately. But because I don't want to wait too long, and I can't work on it now, because the moment I drop this on the side of the cake, it will just splodge and just get messy. So I'll put it in the fridge for about 2 minutes. It's time to wrap the cake, the cage around the cake. So right now, when you want to wrap, you wrap from the back to the front. You don't just slap it on your cake, okay? So that you can gain proper hold on it, you position it well from behind, and then you just wrap it round sides. So because of that, I'll turn the back of the cake to you. So, turn front back with clip tray. This is the front. That's why I have more space here. So all I need to do is every single time I make this, I'm always scared something might go wrong. So let's see if this works. So you just simply rub it. Okay, so this is the back. So start from the back. Then just make sure that whilst you're wrapping it, you're holding it well so you don't have unnecessary gap, and to make sure that it's touching the bottom of the cake as it should. So when you do this, you don't need to press on it again so that you don't get it messy. I don't know if I push some of the side. So now just clean off anything that might be like this thing, like this one. I can actually take it out immediately, you know, because I already put it in the freezer for a few minutes. So it's ready to come out. It's ready to come off, actually. So yeah, see? Just want to make sure that it's well fixed on the sides. Because once you start peeling off, you see it's already coming out itself. Because once you start peeling off the parchment and there is any bit of an obstacle, you might likely get cake accident. So let's see if it will come off. I think it would. So just okay. I'm thinking it's fine. So it looks okay so far. Okay, now watch while I peel it up gently. Doing that. So, that was successful. Thank God. So, after this now, whatever is left is not going to take so much of our time. Just basically to just finish it up. So, I would... what am I going to do? Okay, so... There you have this, guys. Just stop it. So the tip I'm using is Wilton tip 2M. It's a closed star tip. It's a guy's cake, so I don't really want to use the 1M. You can get this at Cake Tools at Fomzi in Port Harcourt. I bought mine from her anyway, so there are a lot of nozzles and tips, piping tips and all that, but I'm sure she would have whatever it is you're looking for.
So this
content for you to maybe content will fly down from the sky. Then no content. I'm answering you. They are going there.